Dr. Tarbox, beautiful, beautiful mind, and he shares that with us here, and we can pick his beautiful brain. You are the Director of Research and Development at the Center for Autism and Related Disorders, and you're the head of that, and you're the Director of Autism Research Group. See, you go away for 2 weeks, and I get your titles mixed up. It took me like a year to be able to say your titles in the right order, and you have more titles too now, and all of which I'll get eventually. But thrilled that you're here. We always miss you when you're away, and are grateful when we have time with you. We've had a bunch of questions that have come in. I'm going to start with one that came in this morning that was specifically just for you.
All right.
So, hi, Dr. Tarbox. My son, 3 years and 10 months old, been with CARD 40 hours for 10 months. Lately, he has been screaming when asked to do something and hitting. These behaviors were never present in the past. Is this normal for him to gain these negative behaviors while he's getting high-quality ABA? And then there's a secondary thing. Also, I signed him up for swimming classes, and we have spent almost 2 weeks to teach him to close his mouth, and still nothing. As the teacher is talking to him, he just dazes off and starts scripting. On that note, how will I send him to school if he can't pay attention to one single person giving him direction? We also have him center-based 3 days, and there have been other kids there, and the therapist tried to do social activities, but he's not interested in any of the kids. He just responds to the therapist or parents. I seriously don't know what to do anymore. So there's a lot there.
Okay, a lot there.
So let's start with the hitting and the screaming, and I'm gonna just put a precursor on here, 2 of them, in fact, that as I mentioned in the last hour, no one in this format can give child-specific advice, including a brilliant person like Dr. Tarbox. So we're gonna give some ideas and some suggestions here, but you're gonna have to go back to your team to talk about those. But I will tell you from a parent point of view that children continue to grow and they gain new behaviors, and my child, after getting great quality ABA for 10 months, started hitting me in the head, and I survived that, and we got through it, and Dr. Tarbox helped us, specifically Dr. Tarbox helped us to get through an intervention, because our kids grow. And
right,
as they grow, I mean, I always use the example of teenagers. If we gave them the best possible training, then they're going to grow and they're going to do things and have new challenges. That's when we know we're getting it right. And eventually they become teenagers, and we haven't done something wrong because they act like teenagers. We've done something right.
That's right. And in fact, with typically developing kids, even with the best possible childhood, they're still going to come up with all kinds of new crazy behaviors in teenage when they become teenagers, right? Yeah. And so, but specifically, I always like to first start by saying congratulations that you do have your kid in the gold standard, most research proven type of treatment. 40 hours a week of ABA starting as early as possible. 3 years old is still nice and young. It's great. And so congratulations, you're on the right track. And another thing to keep in mind is 11 months sounds like a long time, but really honestly, it's kind of still somewhat early on within the overall process of your child's development and ABA treatment. Very, very few kids are done anytime, anywhere near 11 months into treatment. And so when you see new behaviors pop up, a lot of times what it is a way to think about it is, if you had an old habit and it worked for you and you did it, and then that old habit no longer worked, you'd do other stuff. You would try other stuff. And especially as stressors increased in your life, you would develop even more new habits to try to deal with those stressors. So for example, you mentioned that it's the child when they ask him to do stuff he doesn't want to do, it sounds like, then he screams. Well, sure, that makes sense. Why not try screaming, right? If it works to give him a break or to get him some help or to get him out of having to do the work that he doesn't want to do, you can't blame him for trying, right?
If I could call the IRS and scream into the phone and have them say you don't have to do your taxes this year, I would do it every year.
Well, actually, you bring up a really good example. Think about the last time that you've had a really, really frustrating customer service experience on the phone. First, you try being nice, right? When that doesn't work, what do? You get a little bit meaner, right? When that doesn't work, maybe you ask for the supervisor. When that doesn't work, a lot of people do end up screaming. The exact thing that your child is doing. So it makes sense. Now, is it normal for that to occur at some point in a good quality ABA program? Absolutely. But what isn't normal is for that behavior to then persist for a long time and get worse, right? So it's good that you're aware of it now and you're trying to catch it early on, right when it's coming up. And so it's definitely time to have the conversation with your child's supervisor, if you haven't already. Just saying, okay, what are we doing about this to make sure that it's not going to persist? And let's make sure that we nip it in the bud. But it is absolutely normal for that that type of thing to happen occasionally.
And I think mentally you need to prepare yourself for not only this time, but more things are going to crop up. And there's even I don't remember which episode of the A Word where the dad goes through exactly this thing. He says, I thought we were covered. We had a period of time and things were getting better. And so why is he suddenly biting his mom? Because he wants something and it was working is the answer.
Right.
And so, prepare yourself. This isn't going to be the last time that your child's going to start engaging in a new behavior that you're going to go, where did this come from? I didn't want this. I didn't order this from Amazon. I didn't want this.